I think in the next couple of years, we are going to be buried under a bunch of new movements, or if not, just new movement components or upgraded movements using silicon. I'll tell you why after the intro. Hi, welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches. I'm Pete McConville, and as I said in the intro, I think through 2022 and a little bit beyond, we are going to have an avalanche of silicon components turning up in watches. To understand why, a little bit of history. The use of silicon in watches really began in 2001 with Ulysse Nardin and their subsidiary Patek putting a Rolex, a silicon escapement into the Freak. 1 year later, in 2001, a consortium of 3 groups, Rolex, Patek and Swatch, got together with another group called CSEM, I'm going to have to look down, the Centre Suisse d'Electronique et de Microtechnique, and they developed some hairspring technology, which they then jointly patented in 2001. And ever since that critical moment in 2001, silicon technology has been pretty much confined to those 4 groups and that one brand. So Kering Group with Ulysse Nardin and Girard-Perregaux, Swatch with all its brands, the Wilsdorf Group with Rolex and most importantly Tudor, and obviously Patek, have really had a monopoly on silicon componentry. Importantly, see, inside that first crucial bit of IP, there was no LVMH or their other brands, no Richemont, no Breitling, no one else. It was really confined to just those guys. And they very quickly built an IP wall around themselves. As a result, silicon is all over the place in Patek, all over the place in Tudor, all over the place in pretty much every brand now in Swatch. Ulysse Nardin and Girard-Perregaux make the use of silicon components a major part of their selling point. But almost no one else really uses it. They crop up every now and then. Certainly, Ulysse Nardin has been very comfortable selling individual components through Sigatech. Maurice Lacroix have bought those, Frédéric Constant have bought those, a number of others have. 1 or 2 Richemont brands have dabbled in it occasionally, probably using a license that they bought to do some preliminary work, but it's hardly widespread within that group. And LVMH, through both Zenith and Tag, have tried alternative approaches, completely different ways of using silicon, probably in an attempt to dodge that patent. Neither of those methods have really been commercially viable. They've seen like the inventor prototype, but nothing that's really cut through and become a competitor to that original idea that was patented back in 2001. But you see, all that is just about to change, because you see, Swiss patents have a 20-year life. So in 2021, that 2001 patent and whatever patents that Ulysse Nardin had at that time have expired. It is now a free-for-all in exactly the same way as Sellita was able to clone those ETA movements and create a competitor. Now anyone who's got the capital and the wherewithal can access the technology behind those patents and just use it. No licenses, nothing else required. And as a result, that's why I'm predicting that over the next couple of years, as people then start cracking open those patents, cracking open the research, getting in the technology, we're going to start seeing that appear everywhere. As well as that prediction, though, I'm left with 3 questions. The first is, who will be the big third-party movement provider to make the leap and provide silicon escapements routinely in their third-party movements? My money would be on Sellita making that leap, but it could just as easily be Soprod or maybe some other brand like Concepto that's kind of been on the edge could see this as their big opportunity to leap forward. That's going to be a really interesting thing to me. Who is the big third-party provider to make this first jump? Second question that's really popped into my head lately when I started thinking about silicon, the patents, the licensing wall that Swatch and the other guys put up. And I found myself thinking, what's the chance that the Swatch Group designed the METAS testing, the METAS criteria, with the unique properties of silicon in mind? Did they create the METAS requirements for anti-magnetism, anti-shock, etc., thermal resistance, with the idea that you will only get there if you are using silicon? And since that, what that meant was you were essentially competing with Rolex, Patek, Ulysse Nardin, and Girard-Perregaux, with Tudor coming in very late. That would be a place where Swatch Group and Omega would be very happy to be. That they would create this standard that only them and brands that would elevate them in comparison could be. And the third question that popped into my head as I was thinking about this is, there's been rumors that Kering Group is looking to offload its watch business over the last couple of years. And I found myself thinking that it's probably no coincidence that Kering Group is looking to offload Ulysse Nardin at the exact time that its patents are running out and the business that it was making by selling through Sigatech silicon escapements and other components was about to come to an end. And are they looking to like get out? Is that actually where Ulysse Nardin's been making all its money? Not by selling watches, but by licensing its IP rights. And now that those IP rights are running out, Kering Group's decided there's nothing else for us here, time to move on. So anyway, that's my prediction. We're going to get a whole bunch of silicon. And there's a couple of questions that I'm not going to be able to resolve, but really I think are interesting. Do you think I'm onto something? Or do you think that there's something else that's going to prevent this, and that maybe silicon's just not that good? Maybe Richemont and LVMH have stayed out of it for some other reason. Like I said, is that what you think? What do you think about my other questions? Who do you think is going to jump in first, if anyone does? Do you think that METAS was designed so that only certain people could play? And the last one is, do you think this is linked to the rumored getting rid of Kering Group offloading Ulysse Nardin? Fascinated by your responses. Going to be very interested in what comes next. I've been Pete McConville. This has been Not So Obvious Watches. I'll see you later. Bye.